Welcome to another episode of Becoming a Techno Wizard and Thoughts of a Trillionaire, all in one. Once again, after like a month, I think it's been. So sorry for the YouTube. Um, I've been talking about doing this for a long time, so let's do it. I don't know how this is gonna work exactly because the more I try to think about, try to figure out how it's gonna work, the more I procrastinate on doing it. So let's just jump into it. All right. So what this is gonna be is basically me trying to get back into doing my routines. During the beginning of the pandemic, uh, after my started working less at my job, had way more time, of course, here at the house, and realized that I need to have a good habits, a good set of routines, to do things. I've been reading things like time boxing, following this dude called Near Eyal. I'm not sure if you pronounce his name, but he wrote a book called Indistractable. I haven't read his book yet, but I've heard a lot about him talking, read his websites and stuff like that. And that idea of time boxing what really resonated with me. And I've read a lot of other things showing that that sort of thing is very helpful. And then after that, I read James Clear book Atomic Habits, and that has really driven home the importance of building good habits. So I started to do that over the pandemic. But in the last few months, as the pandemic has started to die down, um, and as my own habits kind of started breaking down as well, as things have been changing a lot in my household, um, I kind of sort of went into I'm going to say an experiment, but really it was me just procrastinating on all of my goals and habits for months. Um, and being okay with that too, because things were still working out for me. Like I've gotten some great contracts, been networking, got speaking gigs, all this stuff has been working out. So it's not like I've been just sitting around doing nothing. Um, but I have noticed that, especially lately, as my work stuff has been kind of dying down, and again I have more time to myself, I find myself trying feeling, I don't know, unmotivated or just not focused, right? As not as focused as I felt like I should be or can be, right? And that's really important to me right now because I'm trying to start my own business, right? I really want to go hard on this stuff and really want to make this pop this year. And I want to move out of my parents' place and get to my own place this year. And so in order for all that to happen, I need to be more productive. I need to be more focused on what I need to get done, what I want to get done, so on and so forth. So I figured a great way to make me do that is to do a podcast video where I'm creating my goals and my time boxing, my calendar, all that on video. Why? Because I learned about myself. I learned that for me, it's really hard to push myself to do things if it's just me, right? If I'm the only one that's looking at it, that's ever going to look at it, then I don't really feel much of a motivation to do it, right? Because I don't know, maybe I just don't give myself enough, I don't know, don't value myself enough. I don't know. I really don't know. But for some reason I just don't get motivated enough to do things like that. Um Even though I kind of was before, it was more like I was applying the book, the learn what I was learning from the book, right? And I can do that pretty well. Like when I'm learning new things, I like to apply it immediately. But now that I finished the book, I don't like rereading books. I'm not going to sit back and I'm not going to go back and reread it. Maybe I should go and read time boxing book or Indistractable. But I have like a million books I'm already reading right now, so I don't want to add another to the pile. That's just going to make that work, harder. But anyways, so yeah, I just think that making this video, number one, will push me to actually do this work, to actually redo my calendar that I've said I was going to redo for the last 6 months, and to hopefully, more importantly, document this process for the future, for myself, for others, for my kids or something like that. I don't know. Later on down the line, I just find this process of documenting what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm going through as really beneficial, and really interesting. And I hope more people do this themselves. So, anyways, I said that multiple times, but let's really get into this. I'm going to share my screen again. I don't know how this is going to go, so I'm just going to share all my screens. Can I share both desktops? I could only choose one. Okay, I guess I'll have to do that. Um, yeah, so I'll just share optimize for video clip. What does that do? See your shared screen and share sounds. I don't think sounds is necessary. I'm not going to be showing any videos. Just okay. Share my second desktop. All right. So right now you should be looking at my calendar. Um, so as you can see, there's a lot going on here, and that's mainly because I started once again with that time boxing idea, like a year ago. And so what time boxing is basically, for those that don't know, is simply putting down scheduling time in your day for what you for things that are important to you, right? And the reason why you want to do this is because we all have the same amount of time in the day, right? So when you say you don't have time to do something, what you're really saying is that you don't really prioritize it as much as other things. And that sounds a little hard, right? Because you might say, "Oh no, I literally don't have time to, work 3 jobs." Blah 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 blah. You might be right, but also is also correct that many other people do a whole lot of stuff in their time, right? In their day. They get so much done, whether it's a mother, with a bunch of kids and, has work and has, cleaning around the house and stuff like that. Or if it's an entrepreneur, with different businesses or multiple businesses or just one business, but they have a lot of, employees or a lot of engagements or whatever, right? Um, or if it's a person, a kind of blue collar worker with multiple jobs, just people that manage to do so much in their time and their day. And what allows you to really do that is by having a firm hold of your calendar, right? Maybe not everybody who does a lot, actually does something like this, but in their minds or in their life, they find a way to kind of segment when they're going to do things different times of the day. Um, so for me, what I'm trying to do here is put down, time for everything that I want to do. So automatically there's things like meetings that automatically get put on here. But otherwise than that, like the rest of the stuff is things I put on here. So UI practice, watch UX videos, Atomic Habits. See, I have to update this. I finished Atomic Habits months ago, but it's still here because I never updated it. Yoga. I haven't been doing yoga in in a long time as well. Meditate. Even my sleep. Like I put my sleep here because you need to schedule that time. And a great quote that I heard from Near is that if you don't schedule the time for your if you don't I'm not sure how he said it, but basically, like, if you don't take a hold of your calendar, somebody else will, right? Somebody or something else will. If you don't schedule time for what you want to do on your calendar in your time, something or somebody else will, right? And that's how we get so easily fallen into this trap of kind of responding, right? Reacting to situations, to whether it's emergencies or perceived emergencies, the urgents. Like there's a whole four square model of something that's urgent, important, whatever, whatever. I don't really follow that because it's hard for me to prioritize like that sometimes. But yeah, it's a lot. So actually, what I'm going to start with before I even get to the calendar is my priorities, is my goals. And this makes it easy to figure out what your priorities are. All right. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can set your goals and your priorities. And sorry, there's going to be noise in my background. That's another reason why I've been procrastinating on this video, because I live in a household with like 8 people, and it gets really loud here almost all the time. Right. And I've been trying to find a time where it's relatively quiet for like an hour or two at a time, but it's hard to organize that. So I was like, you know what, I'm just do it now, because I've been talking. Ooh, excuse me, I've been talking about it too much. But anyways, there's multiple ways of creating your calendar system of your organization, your stuff like that. And this is just this year alone is the different things I've been doing to try and figure out my habits and my goals and all this stuff. All right. So here you actually see what I did last year. This is one method I used. I think this might have been 2 years ago when I started this one, but I created 100-year plan for myself. So I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to update this later, but this plan is was really fun for me to do, and it really helped me put into space, like into my mind, what is my real priorities like for my entire life. So I like this stuff. I'm gonna revisit it later. I'm not gonna do it right now because it does take some time to really think about, and I don't really want to rush that process, but I still want to make sure I come away today with a finished calendar. This is another experiment I tried, productivity experiment by Adam J. Walker. Um, so he has every day you kind of set these ideas. So like what's important to you on day one, and then setting those goals based on SMART goals and stuff like that. um, Energy management. So the things that give you energy and the things that take away energy, you write that down so you have a good idea of when when you set your calendar or whatever, your schedule, figure out what things give you energy, what things take your energy so that you have a better idea of how to prioritize and how to organize your day. Morning routine, your morning routine kind of sets the pace for your day. Very often the evening routine sets the pace for the next day, so it kind of allows you to kind of recap what you've done today and figure out what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Perfect week is a good way of setting a kind of like a template. That's why I really like this idea too, this productivity experiment in general. um, because by setting a template of what you want, what you envision your perfect week to be, you can set for yourself a kind of meta goal, right? Of how you want your life to go, right? Like, hey, in my ideal life, I would be able to, wake up and read some cool stuff, get inspired, work on something really interesting, spend some time with my significant other, talk to some cool people, do some podcasts, create more stuff, whatever, things like that, right? And I can't do, there's very little that I can really do on a daily basis right now, but it's my ideal week, and it allows me to shoot for something, to try and figure out how to configure my day in my life right now to what it can be or what I want it to be, right? And when I set that template for myself, then I can always come back to that. This is why I don't actually have to redo everything, right? Because I've already done all this work. I already know a lot about how I want my life to work and how I want to live. I just have to go back, right, to this template and reapply it to how my current life is right now. So this is why I really think it's important to do this sort of work here. Again, this is called the productivity experiment. You can just Google productivity experiment Adam J. Walker, and you'll see his website and this experiment. Um, but yeah, this was a great exercise for me. Um, 10-year plan is another kind of idea of same thing as a 100-year plan, but typically people talk about the 10-year plan all the time. You can Google that too. 100-year plan is the same idea as a 10-year plan, but for longer spans of time. And I've just broken it down. So I just imagine, what's the coolest thing I could be doing in 100 years if I live up to 100 years, right? And then break that down by decade. Like every decade, what do I want to be doing, right? And then break that down by year. So next 10 years, what I want to be doing next year. Then break that down some more. What I want to do next month in order to get to a year, and then a decade, and then a century, and then a week, and all and stuff like that. So, yeah. Um, Furthermore, I try to gamify this sort of to create like quests and all this stuff, but it was just a little bit beyond me. I wasn't able to figure out how to really do that. So I don't know. I might get back to that, but I'm not sure. And then there's another one I had. What did I put it? Is it this one? I think it's this one. No, I don't think I've ever put my goals in there. Or maybe I did. Oh yeah. So core values, again with the energy management. Core values I got from another podcast. I forgot what the podcast was called. So sorry. But basically, you put down what core values. What are the most important things? First, you have kind of words. You choose like 5 to 10 words that are really important to you. Um, and say, okay, these are like the cornerstones of my life, right? And then kind of explain them, like kind of defining them for you to make them a little actionable and a little bit more tactile, all right? And your energy management, again, the same thing I was saying before. So I put a lot of stuff there. um, what I want to do. Again, I try to just different ways to have this more actionable. I tried to have like tasks and then put it on a daily thing and weekly thing and monthly thing, quarterly thing, but and really turned out very well. Um, I forgot what this was. I think it's the same idea, but just different ways I've been playing around with it. It had resolutions and themes. So yeah. So I put my entire life in here, y'all. So y'all gonna see some stuff. um, so getting back to this year I've been mostly kind of trying to keep up with this very simple idea of just writing down either every morning or every night 6 things that I want to do today or the next day. And this has been very fairly useful for me to show me like what are the things I'm prioritizing on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis. But I have found that it's been kind of, for some reason, it's been difficult for me to keep up with it on every single day. And well, not for some reasons, because I don't have a habit, right? I don't have a schedule. Like you see here, I don't really have a time where I sit down and review and say, okay, look at, your, your, uh, your, um, your goals for the day and review that. Right. So that's what I want to figure out how to do today. Um, and things I want to do this. I think I'm going to do something like this again because again I have an idea what my day my goals are and all that stuff. So the real thing is writing down all the things that I want to get done this month and then in the next month. And then from that, from writing all this stuff down, I'll be able to turn it into my calendar to say, okay, this is when I should prioritize certain things. And here, down here, you'll see this is one way in which I prioritize like how much time I want to spend on each thing, right? So when it spends 40% of my time on building my business. So this specific like kind of time layout actually got from, I think, I forgot the exact video, something Art of War, a video basically explaining the art of war and showing how they kind of break it down by time or by like energy, whatever, by resources, basically by saying how much time or resources are you going to spend on this specific goal, right? And that makes it more actionable. So now I know if I say I want to spend 40% of my time building my business, and that means I need to spend 6 hours a day, at least 6 hours a day on building my business. And so when I turn around and do this, I need to have 6 hours, um, laid out for this. Uh, and same thing for here. So I haven't really done this. I did this part, but I didn't go back and put it on my calendar. And that's what messed me up over the past couple of months. This is another way I did it. So I wrote down, again, my goals, like what I want to do for myself this year. And then I prioritize them. Say, okay, these are the most important from 1 to 6. And then, color coding and everything because I like colors. This is another way I tried it where I wrote down all my skills or my things I want to do, and then I broke it down by again priorities. The same thing here, same thing as up here, but listed out for. So this is more of a micro thing. So every little thing that I want to do in this general area, I put a priority level, put a level 2 priority. So it's like this is the priority for all my goals. Like for all my goals, this is my income first, and then my skills, and then this, and then this. And then within my income, these are the things that I'm kind of prioritizing. And then I wanted to create action plans, but I didn't do that because again, it was too much work at that point. Because I was a little bit too detailed with it, and I didn't turn around and make actionable goals around it. So I do want to get back to this, but I might have to be a little bit less detailed because honestly, I get lazy. It gets a little like a lot of work. Um, but yeah, so that's that on that. I kind of broke it down here. So yeah, so today I actually gonna probably stick with something like this. I think this will be a good starting point. And then yeah, I'm not gonna go into too many details, but I think I am going to kind of focus on number one, my priorities here and how much time I want to spend on each of them. every day or every week, and then write those down into my calendar. I think that will make a, yeah, a good session today. Again, I might be wrong. I might have to redo this thing, tomorrow or next week. That's the thing. You're constantly looking back at these things. But the more work you do in this space, the more, again, template you have for yourself, and the more you'll know yourself and who you are, and stuff like that. So again, I don't have to redo everything because I have a very good idea of my goals, for my long-term goals, my short-term goals, all that stuff. It's just a matter of making it actionable and practical so that every single day I know exactly what I need to do, or at least have an idea of what I want to do, right? So let me see. I'm thinking about how I should break this down. I'm wondering if I should first write down everything I want to get done this month, kind of update this list here, and then see how it falls into my priorities for this month, and then write down my calendar, or should I start here? I think I do the first one. Start with what I want to get done, because this includes like things that I need to get done, like my job stuff and things like that. So responsibilities and things like that. So yeah, I think this would be good to start with. So I'm just gonna copy this. So this is a bit messy because I don't like to delete stuff. I like to keep a record of how it was before. That's why I have these archives and stuff like that. So that, and I'm gonna make an archive for this probably separately. I don't think I'm gonna put it in the same thing, but I think having the archives is very important because it allows you to look back on yourself, to see how you changed, how you've grown, or, or or slid back. I don't know. I like to say is always growth. Whether or not it's linear is a question, but there's always growth. So okay, I did my conference talk, so I'll delete that. Futures work. Uh, this is the max. This is not really how much work I can or will get done. This is just the max amount of work I can get done according to my contract. So I'm not sure. There's no really real way to notify that. There's no need because I'm the only one looking at this, but just good to note. So again, I don't want to be too detailed. I'm just gonna list the main stuff I want to do. Um, don't have to do this anymore. Delete that. Um, business building. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Delete this. Again, maybe I'll come back and write it down one day, but for now, I just keep it general. Yeah, design education. So this, I think I actually going to keep here because these are very different. Even though it's in the same kind of area of design, these are very different, you know, responsibilities. So I'm going to keep these different for now. Actually, this one's a little bit different. It's not really colloquial anymore. It's Delta CX podcast content. So I might keep these here as well. Again, because these are very different. Because this is my daily stuff. Like every day, I'm trying to do my um, thoughts of a trillionaire journal, and then more to life of future. I want to do that every week. Actually, I think I might keep all these details now because these details are important. So let me go back and write some of these down. MVP. Actually, I'm gonna start with research. Um, what do I have up there? Pitch deck, and then MVP. Yeah, I already have my business plan, so smart research plan. All right. So I need to put down how much time I want to spend on each of these. Actually, what did I just say? I said figure this out and then turn around and put that in the bottom part. So yeah, podcast content. It's also what I want to do this week. Or not this week. This period. Techno Wizard. So that's YouTube stuff. blogs, books. Yeah. Do I want to start? I do. I really do want to start, writing my book again. We'll see how that goes. Networking, making friends. Yeah. So yeah, I want to talk to folks everywhere from like folks like with that makes content I really like Lex Friedman, Kevin Kelly to everyday people I kind of see on LinkedIn or whatever to my current friends and networks, current friends that I want to keep up to date with. I want to make sure and make some time for that and metaverse stuff. Yeah, I think this is kind of like the future. It's literally the future of the internet. I think so. I want to make sure I'm more involved with this stuff social VR and creating my own stuff as well in that space. That's just some of my passions there. So yeah, this is the main stuff I want to be doing this week. All right, goodness, this month or this next couple months. I'm gonna add something here too. ATC podcast. That's my Discord server. We're thinking about doing a podcast with the whole Discord. Um, I think that's going to be super, super great, super phenomenal right there. So if anything, I might have to. There's so much stuff in this area right here. I might cross that out because I really want to do this. But the problem with this is that I think it's going to require a lot of work, a lot of research, right? Because I don't want to just come up with some random stuff. Even though I've been thinking about this problem, poverty, of how to eradicate poverty for a very long time, right? There's always more to learn because there's always a whole lot of people thinking about and talking about this subject. And who am I to like say, oh yeah, this is how we should eradicate poverty? I'm not. I'm no one. So what I really want this to be is kind of um, a building up, a amalgamation of a lot of the research out there. Of course, it has a lot of my own ideas, because I think everybody has some interesting ideas in the space of how to make the world a better place, of how to eradicate poverty and things like that. But I still want this to be a good balance between my ideas and all the research that's already out there. So I'm not sure if I want to prioritize that right now, just because there's so much other stuff I can be doing and should be doing, I think, or want to be doing that I think will be more aligned with where I want to be, right, in the next few months. This will take a lot of time. This will take months, if not years, to really, get to a good point where I feel like it should be out there. And I don't want to rush that. I want to, you know, all of this other stuff I can start this week if I really wanted to, then much less this month, and it will begin to do that, begin to kind of roll downhill. But this stuff I technically already started. Like I've been doing research for this for a long time. I have like a whole pocket, and I think some other places, yeah, on Notion here, where I just put resources as I find them. So it's not like I'm not doing anything with it, but it's gonna take more time. So yeah, I think this is a good starting point right here. So now let's see if we can put this into my kind of goals and stuff. So here I really simplified it into building my business. So this is income related, career stuff, free time, and fun stuff. And this is I think I designed this specifically for a 24-hour day, not including sleep, of course, or so really 18 hours. Is that 16 hours? I'm not great at mental math. Uh, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should go back to this actually instead of this. Hmm. I think I want to go back to this. I'm just feeling it more right now. So as you can see, I've kind of changed this a little bit because I think what I ended up doing is saying, yes, I want to build a stable income, but I realized that for myself, I want to build a stable income while also like doing good things for the world. Like a lot of people have been telling me and saying just in general that it's better to you know, work at a place that's going to give you a lot of money, and then once you built up a good income, then you can go back and do some feel good work, some nonprofit work, and all this other stuff, right? That's a common thought, especially in tech and other places where you can work. If you really work or really want to make a lot of money, go find a startup or tech company that's just doing whatever is rocketing, right? Whatever is growing a lot and pays well. Just jump on their back. But it doesn't really matter what they're working on. Just jump on their stuff. But my problem with that, and what I learned about myself, is that I really, really, really find it difficult to motivate myself to do good work when I'm working on the project that I feel like is just ultimately not really helping anybody, or like it's harming things. Like, for instance, I love to rail on Facebook because it's easy, and they are just a great example of this, where they're doing amazing work. Don't get me wrong, in the space of VR and many other things, but they're extremely unethical, right? And the people that I'm sure people that work at Facebook don't think so, or would say, "Oh yes, oh, yeah, they're ethical. We have this, we have that, and everything like that." But the truth is that anybody outside of Facebook, whether they're fans of Facebook or not, right, or at least as long as they're not like diehard stands, they will admit like Facebook is continuously been, you know, having terrible privacy like issues and problems with data abuse and things like that, where they don't really care about empowering people to have their own control of their data and things like that. And in the space of VR, it's really dangerous because even though they're like, I have an Oculus from my job. I didn't buy it, which is great because I really don't want to directly support Facebook, but my job had an extra Oculus and they gave that to me. But it's amazing software, amazing hardware, it's amazing features that you have, right? And as a designer, I would love to have worked on this stuff, and I would love to work on this stuff going forward. But as like a designer that's ethical, as a person that really wants to change the world for the better, and that sees all the problems that we have in this world and has lived through a lot of those problems, right? I just find it intrinsically and fundamentally flawed, right? And unethical with what they're doing. And so for me to be like, oh, yes, let me just work at Facebook or any sort of company like that, just so I can earn enough money and then go work on my stuff, it's just not acceptable to me. It's just not, right? And there's so many reasons why. The biggest reason for me is I'm just not gonna be motivated, right? As a purely selfish thing, I'm not going to feel okay working at a place where I know that like the people who are making the decisions, the shareholders, the board, CEOs, all these people don't care about people, don't really care about users, don't really care about making your life better. They just use the idea of being consumer friendly as an excuse, right, to abuse more data, to take more stuff in order to make more of a profit. And I don't necessarily blame them. I'm not like moral grandstanding or anything like that. It's just not my morals. Like, I don't prioritize money above other things. I understand that companies are built, to make money. So I'm not calling these people evil because they're doing that. I fully understand that that's the whole purpose of a company. However, it's also fundamentally against my purpose, right? Of where I feel like I want to make the world a better place. I think profit focused companies are the antithesis or antithetical to that idea, right? And so for me, when I say I want to build my own business, I don't just want to build some profitable business. I want to build an organization that's going to fundamentally change how people do things, fundamentally change how profit works, how whether it's whether it's really making triple bottom line more important, or making deal action lab things more important, like just the donut economics action lab. Whether it's, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I know I want to fundamentally change how business works with my business. And so all that kind of is floating in my mind when I think about earning a stable income. I don't want to just work for some company, you know, when fundamentally they're doing things that I just don't agree with. It's just gonna grate on me every single day. And I've worked in that before. I've experienced that before. I've felt that depression, and I just don't want to go back there. So yeah, that's mostly the reason why. And then um, the other reason why, which is I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of moral grandstanding, is the fact that I just think that we don't have time. We don't have time to wait, right? Um, with everything going on right now, in terms of climate change, in terms of inequality, in terms of just the collapse of democracy, right? I just don't think we have time to be sitting back, working at these places to earn our little income. Because when we finally get to a place where we feel like we have enough income to give back, there might not be much to give back to. And that's my fire, right? And which makes me want to work on really important things right now, like build something really important right now, because I really feel like, and I fear, and I, see all the kind of things going on in our world that feels like if we wait too long, if I wait 10, 20 years or more, to be at a stable point, it's just, there's not going to be much to get back to, right? It's going to be, yeah, we don't have to get into all that right now, but that's kind of like my fire. That's the other part of it. So yeah, change this up to making sure that I'm earning a stable income by working on impactful projects. And impactful to me is things that are making the world a better place. Impactful is not just, is it big, is it, does a lot of people use it? No, impactful to me is, does it make the world a better place? Are people measurably having a better quality of life from using this product? Can we measure that? Can we actually say they use this product and their mental health is better? They use this product and their sustainability is better. Things like that. Like if it's not answering those questions, I don't want to work there. I don't want to look at it. um, so yeah. So I'm going to copy over this all this stuff. I've been talking a lot here. Let's get to action. Then we're going to put this here. All right. So that's just for the reference. Now, what we're going to do here is try to organize all my stuff that I wanted to do, into these, all the stuff that I think are like my priorities. So let me delete this, the old stuff. Yeah, so I did have some specifics in here, so I might turn around and go back and rejigger these things some more to kind of align with some of these things that I've notated way before, when I had more time to sit down and think about all the things that I want to do in this space. But for now, this is just, I'm gonna let it play out. Let me that work. Yeah, let me make some space with each of these. Actually, I think I might not need to. I think you could just drag it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Reduce work. So this goes here because they are doing some really cool stuff, and I purposely, like, I did a whole interview with Annie, the CEO of this company, and asked her, how do you take your projects and stuff like that? Like what kind of projects do you take? And she basically said similar things that I was thinking, like, we don't have to take. She says she doesn't have to take any projects, right? She only takes projects that they think is good, like it's going to help the world, or do some good things in the community, stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. I love that, and I've been following them for a long time. So it's so amazing that I get to work for them. So yeah, definitely high priority there. I think this is messed up. Yeah, let me make sure these are all under this. Okay, I might have to turn this into a toggle. And then I can put all of these here. Boom. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Huh. So this was already interesting. Maybe I did something wrong with the other bullet points. So I like Notion. It's pretty interesting tool. I like how much flexibility there is, how easy it is to kind of move things around and set up your space exactly how you want it to be. Not maybe not exactly because I wanted to make this whole thing 3D. Like I would love to do that, but nobody's really building 3D productivity tools yet right now. So I really want to figure that out myself. That's one of the goals I want to set for myself after I've earned a stable income is to start building, more tools in that space. And the reason why I don't start with that is because I don't have enough skills. So these are actually tied, right? I'm improving my skills and my stable income. I think they kind of go hand in hand. Where and it should actually be next to it. Where by working at a cool place, and building my skills, I can also get to a point where I can work on my own projects by myself. And so that, I can really be the techno wizard that I am training to be. And for me, a techno wizard is somebody that sets a goal and is able to do magic. Is able to by force of will, create something from nothing. Um, So I would love to do that with technology and things like that in general, where I have this idea for something, and then the next day or the next week, boom, it's a real product. That is just so amazing to me. And I would love to get to that point. I've been trying to do it for a long time in the space of coding, but coding is just not for me. So um, design is proven to be a great way to do that. I think I'll put that here because even though it's kind of work on improv projects, the whole point of building my own business is also to make a stable income, right? It's to so I don't have to work for others. I could just have my own way of doing things. Just improving my skills here. Maybe I should just put it inside, but no, not yet. Because I'm gonna rejigger those later. So my main thing here is just to make sure that I have the current stuff that I know I need to get done this week or this month um, into these priorities, podcast content. I think it's documenting my journey. This is actually being separate, different areas. I don't know. I'll break it down later. Networking, making friends, build better relationships. Can I do that? Oops. I'll keep it separate for now. Metaverse stuff. Work on impactful projects. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna make a thing for that right now, just to have it there. Um, OS is just the operating system. I think making I might do bi-weekly videos. I don't know, actually. I think that's a good little starting point there. Okay. So we got something for each of these. Now I'm going to figure out the time. How much time do I want to spend on each of these? Do I want to do them on a daily basis? Probably so. Or, yeah, I think I'm going to do many of these on a daily basis. So, um, actually, let me make a different column. How did I do that before? I think it's just, oh wait, no. I'll keep that here. There we go. And for these, I'm gonna grab them, put them here. Bam. Okay. All right. So for this first one, good way of breaking this down. Basically, it's going to be more time spent for this first for these main priorities one, and less time spent for the other ones. And I will say total, I have what 18 hours. That's 6 hours of sleep. So I think I have about 7 hours right now. Now, I don't want to fill this up completely because what I learned about creating schedules and time is that you want to leave breaks in your day, right? When you create breaks in your day, you give yourself your mind time to replenish and to just refresh itself and stuff like that. So I don't want to spend all 17 hours. So maybe I might cut that down to maybe 15. So it's roughly 2 hours of break. I'll say 14, 3 hours. Because I do tend to overwork myself. Be like, oh yeah, I could just work all day, just do all this stuff. Um, but in actuality, I'd be like, oh, it's too much, and I start feeling, my head hurts or don't drink enough water and stuff. Might even be less time than this, but we'll stick with this so far, and we'll see, where that leaves us. And I like to have time for flexibility too. So I really might bring this down to 10 hours, but I want to see, what this might look like for 14 hours. So the most time, let's say something crazy, 8 hours a day on impactful projects. So this is 20 hours a week. That's roughly what, 4 hours a day? 4 times 5. That means 4 hours max. And for business building, that's another 4 hours. Okay. I'll say max for this because this is like based on my contract. Like I can't go over that time. Um, but this, I'm not gonna say max because I could work on more time. It's gonna take away from my other stuff, so it's no big deal. Improving my skills. So we spent 8 hours, and that is. I told you I'm terrible. I mean, I'm gonna have to count my fingers. No, six. That's 6 hours left for all of this. I don't think that makes sense. Let's get this down to 6 hours. 3 hours max. Oh, keep that at 4 hours max. And this is 2 hours. So that means this is actually at least 2 hours. That's greater than, I think. No. Spell it out. I told you I'm not that smart, y'all. Um, so 6 hours total for this. So that means 4 hours max I can spend on this, on my futurist work. That means at least 2 hours a day that I want to spend on my business. That seems so little. It seems there should be so much more. But it is at least 2 hours, right? Because I might turn around and use any of this other stuff for my business. Um, and that's a day, so it compounds, right? If I really stick to this every single day, it's gonna be huge. Um, Again, I might adjust that later, but that leaves 8 hours for everything else. So my design work, I might actually have to put that here because this is a contract. This is earning me stable income. But I'm gonna be honest, it's not really working on something impactful, right? Project I'm working on here, and the only reason I'm working on this project is because of Debbie, the CEO of Delta CX, and my mentor. She's an amazing person. I really enjoy working with her, and she makes this like it doesn't even matter what project we're working on. Like just working with her is really amazing. Um, and again, it's not like the project is bad. Like the company that we're working for, if we can improve their CX and their UX, it can actually make that company better. Because right now they're using a little bit of dark UX patterns, and so if we can improve that and have better patterns, it can improve the customer experience. Put more ethics in there and stuff like that. So I think it's a worthwhile cause. It's not like super impactful, but at the same time, it's not like you know um, antithetical to any of my belief systems or anything like that. So, but I'm not sure. Should I put that? Should I leave that here? Or should I put that up here? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's a category thing. I don't want to spend too much time, worrying about it. I'll just leave it here for now because right now it is mostly for improving my skills. Even though I'm earning good money for it, like the Debbie's amazing, but it is mostly so I can improve my skills. So I'll keep that here for now. So improve my skills. Let's say that's I wanted to say another 6 hours a day because I really want to improve my skills. So, but I only leave 2 hours, so maybe I'll say 5 hours. And I'll leave 3 hours for everything else. And again, that may not be enough time for everything else. Um, hmm. And this is why they also say like it's important to cap like the goals and the things that you want to work on to like 2 or 3 things. So I might have to cut these down anyways, right? To be like this month I'm going to focus on this specific stuff. And so maybe my top three, right, is gonna have most of my hours, and the other stuff's gonna have like 30 minutes a day, or a week, or something like that, right? I don't know. All I know right now is I do want to make sure I spend a lot of time on my business, my work, and this other stuff. So I put that here because if I don't have much work, that day, then the rest of the time can be spent on my business. So that will give a lot of extra time right there. And I don't think I've ever really had to spend whole 4 hours on this specific stuff because the project we're doing is really cool, but it's not much more work for me right now. Um, so let me see. 5 hours design education skills. So I'm gonna skip this line, but put this here. So Ask Like a Pro class. I really need to catch up on this stuff. I'm gonna say at least 2 hours. And then here, um, again, 4 hours max because I can spend I think 20 hours a week on this again. It might be 20, 25, but I'll say 4 hours. This is kind of weird to me now because it's like, well, not really. Okay, because I was thinking like, why am I spending the same amount of time on on this class as I am on my business building? But the whole reason why I even wanted to take the class, this is a UX research class. Um, and the whole reason I want to do this is because I think it's going to help me for my business, right? Because if I can figure out how to do good user research, then I can inform my business on how to go through the entire process of building my business and stuff like that, making sure I'm, interviewing the right people, doing the right types of interviews, asking the right types of questions, all that other stuff, analyzing the data, all that stuff. So yeah, I think that makes sense actually. Maybe this is not necessary because I have the oops, I have the overall type group here, and this is very ugly. I'm gonna like, you know, fix this up later, like bold or make these titles more apparent, so just it's easier to see at a glance. But for now, I think this would be decent. I should have been looking at my clock. I have no idea how much time I've been spending on this video, and I want to keep it at under an hour. Um, shoot, how long have I been doing this video? I don't know. I don't know. Let's give it 20 more minutes. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock anyway, so yeah. Maybe we just go right up into that meeting, not right up into it, like 10 minutes until 2. We'll stop there. So that's about 25 minutes. That's not 25 minutes. That's about 20 minutes, like I said before. Oh, I'm not that smart, y'all. Okay, build better relationships. So I'm going to say 1 hour on this. I know I prioritize this, but this is mostly like talking to people. Yeah. And I can get carried away with this. I'm not gonna lie, because I do find it really enjoyable to talk to people. But I don't catch myself like I think one of these weeks I had like 3 or 4 meetings with people, and I didn't get much of other work done. And it was cool. Don't get me wrong, but I have to be honest in that it's not gonna help me. Like I need to get my income really set, my skills really set, stuff like that. So I don't want to spend too much time every day on this. But I do want to make sure I dedicate time to, reaching out to people and all that other stuff. I don't think I'm going to break this down right now and keep it at 1 hour. I might adjust it later. But this is already becoming a little bit unmanageable. Let me see if I can bold this up. It's not very apparent. Let's make it bigger. Huh. Mm, let's make it red. Yeah. It's easy to see at a glance. All right. So we got 6, 5, that's 11, 12. So you need 2 hours for the rest. Um, I'm thinking like 30 minutes here. So I don't want to spend too much time on this every single day. Just enough to like make sure I'm just updating things and writing out what I'm going to be doing the next day. Now, even though I said I'm gonna kind of spend more time on more priority stuff, this stuff is really important to me, but it's not directly important to me, right? And this is also why I put like impactful projects up here at the top as well, because this stuff is more projects that I'm kind of keeping up with. right, that other people are doing, but I want to be involved in. And while this stuff is like things that I'm either directly, involved in or spearheading or whatever, right? We're gonna just put this at 1 hour. And the reason for that is because every time, almost every time I do a podcast, I end up spending a good amount of time. Like my Thoughts of a Trillionaire podcast, it's usually a long episodes. Like I try to keep it short sometimes, or unless I really force myself to keep it down to like 20 minutes, I'm almost always going to 30, 40, 50 minutes. So I'll go ahead and keep that an hour. And I think that leaves us the last 30 minutes for this, right? That's 6, 12, 14, 12. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see. Shift H. Nice. I always forget um, keyboard shortcuts. So yeah, I think that's a good starting point right here. So I'm going to move this to another screen. And then I'm going to put this on my calendar. So we have a few minutes to go. Let's see how much we can do. So it said roughly 6 hours a day on my futures work and business building. All right. Now, this kind of work, I know it's going to require some focus time, a little bit of quiet time. I'm not sure what that sound was. Um, I don't know if you heard that, but I was in my email. Might have been my email. Um, but yeah, so it's going to require some focus time, quiet time. Mm, I tend to be somewhat focused in the morning. It depends on my energy levels. I'm feeling like I want to put like roughly 2 hours in the morning, and then other hours, later in the day. I don't know. My energy levels are so weird. Oh, excuse me. I need to be better at logging. That's what I didn't do when I was creating my atomic habits. I tried to, like I started this habit tracker, but I didn't really ever do it, and just because it felt like it was too difficult. Like I don't know. I need to do that because I always be confused with my stuff. Yeah, I need to do that. Because I know so far, um, I tend to spend like in the morning. I tend to spend some like an hour or two reading things. Sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's articles, sometimes it's design stuff. And then after that, I would talk to my spouse, um, Discord community, eat, get dressed and washed up and all that stuff. Um, see what's going on in my emails. But I find that sometimes when I get up and just start doing work, I tend to be very creative in the morning, but I also tend to be very creative at night, like right before I'm about to go to bed. Thinking like this business stuff. Another thing I'm thinking about is when they say eat the frog, right? So do the hardest thing first in your day so that you're not procrastinating for it and, putting it off. But the problem with this is that this work isn't really hard. Features work is pretty, straightforward, and I don't really have a problem with doing that whenever. Business building, it is hard somewhat, but right now the hardest thing about it is knowing what to do at all. Like, it's not like I'm putting it off because it's difficult to do. It's more like I don't know what to do. I feel like my frog is this research class right now. And I mentioned this in my podcast yesterday, where I like the class. I'm learning some good stuff, but I'm not very engaged in it right now. Like, I'm an observer, so I don't really have to do much work. Like, I'm not required to do the work, and I don't get any feedback and stuff like that if I do the work. So I feel like there's no reason for me to do the work, which is weird because technically I can do, like, apply this stuff to my business idea. But the problem with that is that I'm the only one working on my business idea, right? And I have no stakeholders. I have nobody, pushing me to see things for it. I'm not working with it. Like, I don't have a partner or anything like that. So I feel I've been feeling very almost demotivated to do that work again, even though I feel like it's very important and all that stuff. Doing it by myself kind of feels like I'm just, you know, entertaining myself. Like, I'm not really making much of a difference or anything like that. Or I don't know. So I do worry about that. So I don't know. Let me put that first, I guess. I'm gonna say 2 hours. Sounds like a lot, though. I'm not gonna lie. We'll start with an hour, then break time with another hour. Yeah, I think this is good. Let me go ahead and put this in the same color as my um, sheet here. Oh, excuse me. It's near my nap time. I usually take a nap in the afternoons around 2 or 3 o'clock. Naps are so great. It's a good power nap, like usually just 20, 30 minutes. 10, 15-minute break there. Then boom, bam. Put this as free. And the only reason I'm putting this here is because I have this connected to my Calendly, and I like to be available for folks. Nobody really uses it right now, so right now I can put like, oh yeah, it's free, just because I want to make it easy for people to be able to schedule time with me. Um, but if a lot of people start using it, then I'll be more strict with that. But right now I can adjust. That's the benefits of not being known, of being very you know unknown. The few people who find my Calendly definitely want to talk to them. All right, so that's 2 hours covered. My ass like a pro, and I said at least 2 hours, so I'll stick with that so far. That is my frog right now, so I think if I can get that done every day, I will feel really good. So now, let's see, future risk work. I think the afternoon is a good time for this because there is, they tend to be more active in the afternoon. So if I have any questions or whatever, I can ask them. And I said 4 hours max. Huh. But what's the what's the minimum time spend? I think at least an hour. Yeah, I just say at least an hour. And I can always make more time there. Money green. I misspelled that and I didn't put the right times. So I'm going to fix these notifications up some more. But like what I want to do with the notifications is like um for everything that's like basically I want to make sure that I notify myself to remind myself to, do this work every day. But I don't want to go crazy and like, oh, 30 minutes and it's confused because 30 minutes doesn't really work very well for my schedule. As you see, it's a lot of stuff going on. So I might do like 10 minutes before. And what I might also do is like every week have like a week before. And that might be for the bigger stuff. Like when I start setting deadlines for specific tasks that I want done, I can put those as reminders and then have those set as like, notify me of this reminder or whatever, the week before or stuff like that. I think that would be pretty awesome. Um, that's business building. So I said 2 hours minimum, up to 6. I want to say in the middle of the day should be good for this. Hmm. Maybe one in the middle, one at night. So one in the middle, right after my nap. So let me put that first, actually. A little nap time right here at 3. It's usually just 30 minutes. Maybe I should keep it at an hour, just in case I want to spend some time like meditating or something like that. And we have extra hours to play around with. I think like what 4 extra hours to play around with. It is every single day. All right, even on the weekends. All right. So this is gonna be 4 to 5. This I'm gonna put every day as well. What am I looking at? Here we go. You know, on the weekends, money green, notifications off, take this off, and boom, bam. All right. So for these overlapping ones, obviously I just go with like the actual event thing that's there, and they move things around. This is another benefit of having like your space like this is again it's a template. Like I always go back to this. So if I miss it today or this day, then tomorrow, I'm back to my regular schedule, regularly scheduled program. So yeah, that's another asset business building at a little later at night too. So 11 o'clock is a good time for me. I don't go to sleep until like 1 o'clock almost most nights. Okay, there we go. So you see it's filling up really nicely here. Um, I might go ahead and end it here. But you getting a feel for it. I'll probably do another video showing the end result or a week after this because this is another thing too. This is just my first kind of thing getting back into this. Like with my old schedule, I changed it around so many times, and that's okay, because your time, your schedules, your priorities change, and so over the next week as I practice this more and kind of try to stick more to this, I'm going to see how it works for me. Another thing that I really want to do is have a reward system for me. So, this goes back to habit tracking or creating good habits. Is that you need to have that reward to create that dopamine loop. So I want to figure out what my reward system is. That's been a big problem with me with creating habits and sticking to them for a long period of time. Is that I don't really know what rewards me. Like I'm not really one to care too much about rewards per se. Like, or rather, the rewards that I really want are not things I can get right now. So the rewards that I really want is to be able to travel, right? Be able to spend like a weekend or a whole week traveling to some new place around the world, which I just can't do right now. And then another one is being able to play really cool games. Unfortunately, I don't have a gaming PC. I only have a MacBook. I do have the Oculus Quest, but it's only a few games on there, not really. And I don't want to buy. So I really don't want to support Facebook. So I'd rather just not play games than, buy some games off of their world. And that's just me. But I do want to earn enough money to get a gaming PC, and then start playing some really cool games that I've been looking forward to play. So but right now I don't really have much. I've been playing Valheim by using Shadow, the Shadow streaming service, which has been decent, but it's been kind of hard to play that game without other people. That game is really designed to be played with other folks, and it's really hard to play by yourself, because you have to do so much grinding, and it just gets kind of frustrating after a while, or tiring. Um, but I do enjoy playing, even with the grinding and stuff like that. I do enjoy playing, so I do want to spend more time with that. But yeah, that's like gaming, traveling, um, talking to really cool people, which is not something I can set as a reward per se. Like, hey, I've done this. Let me talk to you now. Like, I don't know if that's gonna play out right. What else? Spending time with my significant other, um, in a non-stressful way. Like, don't get me wrong, we spend some great quality time together. We usually, try to do that over the weekends or specific days or on the week. But we both are kind of stuck in our current predicaments of like having to worry about bills and all this other stuff. And though I really enjoy my time with her, we both just really want to do more things together, outside, without feeling guilty about spending money on these things. So that's something we're trying to figure out as well. And I know that would be a great reward system for me. And yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what else is a good reward system. And again, like I don't want to use stuff either that is harmful. Like, I have a guilty pleasure of eating gummies, like gummy bears and stuff like that. But makes my skin break out and it's giving me acid reflux, and it's just not healthy. So I'm just like, I can't reward myself by giving myself, candy and stuff like that. It's not a good practice. But I have to figure out more rewards for myself and to really complete the habit loop, and things I can like consistently give myself on a, every time I complete something, so that I can have that dopamine system in place. So yeah, that's what the next thing I really want to figure out. But yeah, I think this is a good starting point, and I'll update you all on, how this works, how this turns out in the next week or so. So as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something. If not about me, at least about this system and about the idea of scheduling your time and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks as always, and have a great day. See ya. Bye bye.